The 0-8 Jets suck are the laughingstock of the NFL. They added another chapter to the comedy on Tuesday. This compliments of the embattled general manager Joe Douglas. Say what? Now, I'm guessing you don't follow the Jets, so we'll follow the Jets for you. I love the train wreck. I do. I am like a moth to a flame attracted to the stench of bad football and bad basketball and bad baseball. I am. So Joe Douglas was singing the praises, blowing into the harmonica, a nice tune for his coach and his quarterback. And he had a lot to say on each. Why don't we play the first one here? We have the audio tape. He talked about Sam Darnold here, and gave a ringing endorsement, Joe Douglas did, to a guy that many thought was available at the trade deadline in Sam Darnold.
How would you assess Sam Darnold's play this season, and what do you think of his future with this team in 2021 and beyond?
Yeah, my thoughts on Sam are the same now as they were then. Sam's an ultra-talented quarterback, and I really can't say enough about his grit and his toughness. Ultimately, I've got to do a better job of putting talent around Sam, and we have to develop some kind of continuity within the offense.
All right, so he praised his grit and toughness, did not praise his actual ability to play football. All right, but wait, there's more. He also said, I have no problem saying that he is our best quarterback and our quarterback of the future. So here is the comments that Douglas made about Adam Gase, the coach for now of the Jets suck.
In your opinion, can this team get to where you want it to be with Adam as the head coach?
Yes. Ultimately, like I said, I have to do a better job for all these coaches and players. And the hope is that we can fix these problems together and be here together for a while.
So you're saying he's part of the solution then?
Yes.
All right, drop the mic. Some great straight man comedy. You got the comedian, the straight guy. He was playing the straight guy in that comedy duet. So let us discuss the question. Are you going to go thumbs up or thumbs down on Joe Douglas? You just heard the sound bites praising Adam Gase and Sam Darnold. So obviously this is a thumbs down situation. All right? This is a thumbs down situation. But I've got lemon, political theater, and grain of salt. And we will combine all of these things together. Now, number one. So Sam Darnold at least has a glimmer of hope. There's a ray of sunshine that he could stick around, but not as the starter. He's not only been a quarterback, Sam Darnold, he's been terrible. Right? But there is a path, you could say. Well, that's talking about his grit and all that's great and wonderful and toughness. But at performance, I love guys that are gritty and the players that play like that, but you got to have talent also. You can't be all about that. And while he had talent at USC, he hasn't shown that on the regular in the NFL. And so he maybe is allowed to stick around as a low-grade insurance policy for whatever jamoke they end up drafting. But they're going to have a new coaching staff. And the new coaching staff, are they going to be forced to keep Sam Darnold around in case player X, whoever player X is at quarterback, who they draft, is unable to play from the very beginning of the season for whatever reason? So you can make endless excuses for Sam Darnold, and there are very few people left that make those excuses, but there are some that are still out there. All right, playing for the Jets, it's too hard. It's an obstacle course. And I'm not going to push back. How can I push back? It is an obstacle course, but guess what? Sam Darnold hasn't exactly used those obstacles to grow and make himself better. He has used them, and the people around him have used them as an excuse that's holding him back, right? Rather than embrace the obstacles and jump over them, he's like, I can't get over them. And we're all going to push back. It's obvious. Listen, Sam Darnold has he really shown flashes of what he can do? Did I miss it? Was I not watching? Was that in warm-ups before the game? Somebody send me the sizzle reel on Sam Darnold, because what I know is he started 32 games. The Jets have only won 11 of them. His passer rating, he's had a passer rating above 100 7 times. That's about 22% of the starts Sam Darnold has made. He has had a passer rating of 100 or better. Now, for context, Sam Darnold has had a passer rating below 87 21 of the 32 starts, which is about a 65% area. How about 3 touchdown games, right? 3 touchdown passes in a game. That's a pretty good statistic. Tells you you're doing a good job, generally speaking. Sam Darnold has had a grand total of 3 out of 32 starts. He's had 21 games with 1 or no touchdown passes. So that resume would not get you hired. That resume would say that you're on borrowed time. And so the story, the metaphor for Sam Darnold was the new BMW that you were very excited to purchase. You got it. It turned out to be a lemon, and I don't want a lemon. So you're like, I'm going to get rid of this Sam Darnold car, and I am going to look at Trevor Lawrence because that's a Maserati, and I can get that in 2021. So you'll trade in your defective Beamer that's a lemon, and you'll get a slick Maserati. You'll do that any day of the week, and I believe twice on Sunday, which is when most NFL games are played. Now, number 2, as for Adam Gase, let me tell you, he does have a bright future. Adam Gase, I have had a come-to-Jesus moment on Adam Gase. He has a future selling insurance, right? He can sell insurance premiums. And if you really want to get the number 1 pick, bring in Adam Gase. Bring him in. There's certain coaches you bring in and you're trying to win a Super Bowl. Like, you know, if Belichick left the Patriots and worked for some other team, you'd think, well, this is the guy that's going to lead you to the promised land, to the Holy Grail. But if your idea of the Holy Grail is the number 1 pick, just hire Adam Gase. Right? Hire Adam Gase. And he could not coach his way out of a wet paper bag at this point. He could not navigate how to cut open the wet paper bag. And Gase is the perfect coach for the Jets right now because their goals are matched. Adam Gase doesn't know how to coach. The Jets don't know how to play. But in the political theater, there's a term in politics that applies here. In political theater, they would call Adam Gase a useful idiot. Because, you know, just by keeping him employed, you have a much better chance of getting the number 1 pick. If they fired Adam Gase today and they hired the interim coach, which most likely would be Greg Williams, the notorious Greg Williams, the team could actually rally around Greg Williams. He could coach him up, scheme him up, and they'd win a few games. And that would screw up the entire evil plan to get that number 1 pick. It would derail all of that. It would derail everything. So by keeping the brainless Mama Luke, it is better for draft capital. Now, listen, I don't like the whole tanking thing. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's stupid, and you shouldn't do it. But the Jets have done a lot of losing. They've had a lot of high draft picks. Sam Darnold was the number 3 pick in the draft. You had a terrible season to get the right to draft Sam Darnold. Now you're having another terrible season to have the right to draft Trevor Lawrence after you had the terrible season a couple years ago to get Sam Darnold. So it doesn't matter. You got the babbling, bumbling band of buffoons who are running the Jets franchise. Again, I got no skin in the game on that. I'm not a Jets guy. All right, final point. So watching the Jets play football is actually enjoyable. It's like a throwback to the 1980s or the 1990s. We'll see them on Monday night against the Patriots. It's NFL films. I don't think they do this anymore, but they used to put the Super Duper Football Follies videos on VHS. And they were wonderful, and I don't think they do it anymore because the players were upset. They were offended because they made them look bad. But that's the Jets, right? Absent-minded athletes on display. Bunch of guys who were all lettermen in college, but I think they all went to clown college. And you've got Joe Douglas there, the GM, who's not even guaranteed to be employed next season. There's no guarantee. The Jets could say, we're going to get rid of everybody. So you got to take his endorsement, obviously, with a grain of salt. Normally, this is the kiss of death. Right, it's Medusa. You've looked at Medusa when you get the vote of confidence. But this is by the book. This is always what we say, by the book. Do you imagine if he had come out and said, boy, Adam Gase is a boob. And Sam Darnold, let me tell you, Sam Darnold couldn't throw a softball, forget a football. Oh, my. But you got to have that public-private thing. There's the proper decorum, right? The proper decorum that you must show publicly. Play the game, buy the book. Privately, you are looking at resumes and you're like, whoa, I got to get somebody else in here. You could see the Jets ownership look at this as asbestos and say, let's bring in the hazmat crew. Let's bring in the cleanup operation there. We'll grab some acid wash and we'll scrub a dub and get rid of everyone. Now, if Joe Douglas does stay, and that is a possibility, he will be essentially rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic as it's about to plunge into the Atlantic. Although they've already plunged in the Atlantic, so I don't know if that's the proper analogy because they're already at the bottom of the Atlantic right now as we speak.